Hi everybody, it is Maria LaPuma again, and happy Tuesday for those of you who live in the US. Happy Thanksgiving Tuesday. I hope you're well and taking good care of yourself today. So today I wanted to share another tip to help you to move through the holiday season with more ease, more grace, more happiness, and just being able to take care of yourself and be present for yourself and others throughout this season. So one of the things that I was thinking about today that I share with my clients frequently is one of the most potent things that you can do to support yourself. And it's something that nobody could ever take away from you. It's really what you're telling yourself. How are you speaking to yourself? How are you supporting yourself? What's the internal dialogue that's going on for you? And I know a lot of people say they have this inner critic that is constantly putting them down, and there's parts of us that are looking at what we're not doing and not always able to see what we are doing. But those are just patterns that you've cultivated unconsciously and then consciously throughout your life. So you've been in the habit maybe of beating yourself up or of picking on yourself or not seeing the good in you. And that can be turned around. You can start to feel different about yourself by the way you speak to yourself. Because really our beliefs are just thoughts you keep thinking. And if you keep thinking negative beliefs, you're going to have negative beliefs about yourself. If you start to affirm positive beliefs about yourself, supportive things that you need to say, that you can say to yourself, you'll start to feel uplifted and better about you. A lot of us have been brought up with this belief that we're not enough or there's something wrong with us. And maybe if we've been entrenched in a society that's telling us that we need to look different or be different, it's compounded with feeling like, well, what's wrong with me? Maybe if you've had experiences with diet mentality, you've gotten the belief that there's something wrong with your body. Well, all of those are misguided beliefs that have been cultivated, and so it's important to start turning them around and to start to shift those beliefs. And they happen by the stories we tell ourselves. First off is you have to remember that your body wants to be healthy, happy, and whole. That's your body's true essence. And maybe you're not experiencing that today because you have misguided beliefs about yourself and your body. But your body wants to be healthy, happy, and whole. And part of that is you want to come into a right relationship with your body. And so right relationship with your body is how can you speak kindly to your body and about your body. And I know that sometimes if our body is not showing up in the way we like it, we sort of learned that if we are hard on ourselves or we constantly beat ourselves up, maybe we will get ourselves into alignment, maybe we'll have more discipline. But really that doesn't work. The only way to really shift this change in your relationship to your body and to heal from the inside out, if you have difficult, problems in your body, if you're struggling with excess weight or unable to align with your health and fitness goals, it's the stories that you've been telling yourself that are really driving this. So, what is it that you need to hear? What is it that you need to say to yourself that can support you? Can you start to identify support, just love and acceptance of yourself? You're doing the best you can right now. Or just bringing some love to your body, finding aspects. And I know that, a lot of women struggle with this. Like, how do I love my body, again, if it's not showing up the way I want it to, or I have extra weight, but you want to tune into the essence of you. Your body is an amazing machine that is consistently taking care of you. Tune into your organs. Your organs are functioning beautiful. Your body carries your spirit through this lifetime. Find something that you can appreciate about yourself and your body every day and elaborate on that. And as you start to talk to yourself in a more loving way, a supportive way, you will start to, first off, You will replace that inner critic. So rather than fighting the inner critic, every time that inner critic comes up and starts putting you down, you can just share, I love you, I love my body, you're doing a good job. What is it that you want to hear? What is it that you need to hear? You know, so many of us grew up in systems where we didn't get the love and support and encouragement that we wanted and needed in our developmental years. And we continue in our adult years not giving ourselves that as well. What is it that you wanted to hear from your family, from your friends, from your loved ones? What is it that you are looking for? What is it that you're hungry for? And if it's acknowledgement that you are enough, that you're lovable, that you're loved, then start talking to yourself that way. Start telling yourself, I am enough. I am lovable. I am open to love. You want to start telling yourself those truths, because even though you may not have experiences that support that, at the essence you are enough. At the essence, you are lovable and loved. You wouldn't be here if you weren't loved. Love is the essence of our being, and love is the elixir. That's the healing medicine to all of our struggles in this lifetime. It's finding ways to love ourselves, to appreciate ourselves, even and especially when we're showing up wounded and hurt or not in the way that we want to be. Because fighting it, putting ourselves down, beating ourselves into submission does not work. Believe me, I tried it for many years. It did not work. The only way that I was able to turn my whole life around was first by accepting myself, learning to be less judgmental and less critical of myself, and to start to cultivate love and kindness for myself. You can ask yourself a question, even if you're not feeling it. Sometimes we have to take the actions before we can start to feel it. You can ask yourself that question in the morning. What can I do today that demonstrates kindness towards myself? Because love is an action, right? So even if you're not feeling it, how can you treat yourself kinder today? How can you speak more kindly to yourself? How can you start to appreciate something about yourself? And as you cultivate that, it'll get easier and easier and easier. You know, everything, every living thing, every organism has an essence, it has the capacity to listen. You know, there have been plenty of experiments with plants, right? If you put plants in an environment that's loving and uplifting, people even talk to their plants. People play music for their plants. The plants flourish because they're being loved. We know that Dr. Emoto did messages in water, and if you haven't checked out Dr. Emoto's work, I'm going to share a link to one of his YouTubes. But he did research with water, and when you speak to water, it actually changes the cells. When you speak harshly, it disfigures the crystals into something that looks very deformed. And if you speak lovingly to the water, it configures the crystals into beautiful, beautiful crystals. And we're made up of 80% water. So how are we speaking to ourselves? And you have the power to change that. You have the power to start to speak more kindly to yourself. You have the power to tune into what is it that you've been longing to hear from your loved ones. What is it as a child that you wanted to hear from the adults in your life and they couldn't give it to you? Start telling that to yourself. Start treating yourself with more kindness and start affirming yourself. If you needed to learn that you were enough because maybe you didn't learn that, start saying you're enough. Make that your mantra, repeated practices throughout the day. You can write it in your journal. Writing is a great practice for this. It activates parts of the brain. I remember years ago, I was very much into Louise Hay, and she, of course, is the queen of affirmations. And writing affirmations, restating affirmations is a wonderful practice. And sometimes if we feel challenged with the affirmations and we're not aligned with them, we can start with, wouldn't it be nice if I could speak kindly to myself? Wouldn't it be nice if I could start to see the good in me? Start where you're at. Start to tune into what can you say to yourself that lands, that feels okay, and that you can cultivate and ultimately expand on in the positive. Because the more you feed yourself, the cells of your body, every part of you with love, the more your body's going to respond, the more your mind and spirit are going to respond. So one of the things that you can do throughout this holiday season is to start to notice your internal dialogue and notice how you're speaking to yourself. Notice what you're saying to yourself. Are you supporting yourself? Are you affirming yourself? Are you giving yourself the benefit of the doubt? Are you forgiving yourself for mistakes? So many of us hold ourselves up for perfection, to this perceived sense of perfectionism, and then use that to beat ourselves up when we fall short. So start where you're at, cultivate a sense of awareness, and that might be being more mindful and present. Breath is a great practice for that. Again, tapping is a great practice to just get tuned into what am I saying to myself? What's that inner dialogue that is consistently going on? And how can I start to shift that dialogue into words that heal, thoughts that help me to thrive, things that can help me to feel good about myself. And I promise you that, you will, as you feel good about yourself, you'll start to respect yourself more. When you have true self-love, and you are inspired to take care of yourself, because the things that we find precious and valuable are the things we take care of. And when we can start to feel our value and start to realize how precious we are, we will start to cultivate a willingness to take better care of ourselves. So this is something that nobody can take from you. It's an inside job. It's an awareness. Don't use any of this to beat yourself up. If all of a sudden you're more present and you have this awareness that you've been beating yourself up, because sometimes it's been unconscious, it's been below the surface for many years, and we don't even realize that that's what we're doing. So once you have the awareness, that's at least half of it. The second part of that is to start replacing those patterns. I like to use thank you, I love you to my body. I find that it's a very healing practice. It's helped me to really come into a much better relationship with my body. I had a lot of body hate for many, many years, and getting thin didn't solve it. What the outer manifestations never really solved it, because again, it's an inside job. So one of the practices that I like to do and I suggest to my clients is when you're after your shower, after your bath, when you're putting cream on your body, you're just sort of, I love you, thank you, I love you, thank you, and just sort of in a loving way, touching your body, petting your body, as if you would say to your pet, right? If you are loving to your pet responds in a loving way. So you want to treat yourself the way you would treat a loving pet or a loving child. Start to cultivate that. Maybe at first you'll feel uncomfortable or self-conscious, so this practice might even bring up tears with an awareness of how much you have been rejecting yourself. But the truth of it is that you can release that and start to come into a better relationship with yourself and your body. And as you do that throughout the holiday season, so you start to practice it, maybe in your morning practice, maybe in your writing journal. What is it that I need to hear? What can I start to tell myself that will support me, that will help me to move through maybe the challenges that I'm going through, to move through maybe some habits of thought that have been undermining me. And as you start to cultivate that, you're going to start to feel better. Just try it on. Experiment with it. See how it feels. Notice how applying these anecdotes, and again, love, the healing medicine, will start to shift how you feel about yourself. And you can start to do this, like I said, throughout the holiday season. Give yourself the gift of love. because the more you give yourself the gift of love, the more you will feel love in yourself and in your body, and you will be radiating more love. What is it that you want to hear? And start telling that to yourself. How can you support yourself? How can you treat yourself with more kindness? Every morning, ask yourself that question. What can I do today that demonstrates kindness towards myself? And at the end of the day, notice those moments that you did. Maybe you sat down and had a cup of tea. Maybe you stepped outside and breathed in some fresh air. Maybe you made an attempt to change your inner dialogue. Whatever it is, find something that you're striving to shift, you're striving to change, and work from that. So I want to hear from you. Tell me, does this land for you? Is this something you're already doing? Do you use affirmations? Do you use positive mantras? I have found that repeating certain words to myself, our words are very, very powerful. And the things we say to ourselves and the things we say to each other are very powerful. So being intentional with the words. Tell me, are you already doing this? Is this part of your practice? Or is this something that you'd like to cultivate? And again, this might be triggering for you, but if it's triggering, that's good. It's showing us that there's some blocks there. There's a part of you that really wants to be healthy, happy, and whole. It's who you are at the essence. And the reason, if you're not there, the reason it's so emotionally painful is because it's not in alignment with who you truly are and who you truly came to be here, and why you truly came to be here, to be happy, healthy, and whole. So let me know. Let me know what you're going to do today, and as you move through the holiday season, how you might apply this technique, these tools that I'm offering, and any other wisdom that you might want to share is very much appreciated. Until next time, I hope to see you again before Thanksgiving. I won't say Happy Thanksgiving yet if you are in the U.S. and celebrate Thanksgiving. I'm hoping to come on again before the actual holiday of Thanksgiving, and then throughout the holiday season, just offering some tools and techniques that will help you to move through this time of the year, taking care of yourself, being more loving and kind, and ultimately cultivating tools that will heal you so that you can live happy, healthy, and free. So thanks for joining me, and I look forward to next time. Bye now.